Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. It is the 12th of January, which means it's another edition of Friday Sews. Excuse, I'm going makeup free again today. I'm trying to wear less makeup because I have to wear makeup when I work. So when I'm not at work, I'm trying to just give my skin a bit of time to breathe. So just welcome in the makeup free face. So what have I been doing this week? I've actually been quite productive, but I can't show you the main thing I've made because it's in collaboration with someone else and we are releasing on the same date. So that is my Nova coat, which I finished. I definitely enjoyed sewing it more this time than I did the first time. I think just because I understood the construction a bit better. The instructions aren't bad, but it's just, I think there are a few bits with connecting the lining that I just didn't quite get my head around last time, whereas this time I feel like the construction has all gone pretty well. It's an interesting silhouette, the Nova coat. So this is, if you don't know, it's a Paper Cut Patterns pattern. It's like a cocoon style coat, and it's got some really interesting, how would you describe them? Like design, like there are seams that are there for design rather than purpose, if that makes sense. So it's got a sort of origami structured look, and I think it's a really nice jacket. I've made the first one I made, which I'll put a picture of here, was ages ago, and that was the longer version, and this time I've made the shorter version, and it's actually a pretty nice length. So there'll be more to come on this. My collaboration is with Ruan, the Yorkshire Sew Girl, so we will both have videos releasing at some point, but that's the main thing I've sewn this week. I've then started on my Itch to Stitch Andy's jacket. So it's all cut out, and then I was interfacing some of the parts yesterday. So I'm going to start sewing that up probably a bit today and over the weekend. I feel like I quite urgently need this. So anyone who doesn't know, the Andy's pattern is a raincoat pattern by Itch to Stitch. Now, Itch to Stitch, obviously lots of people sew with them, but I don't see loads of their makes on Instagram. Maybe it's just the people I follow, but they've got a really good size range, and also all of their patterns come in multiple cup sizes, like 4 or 5 cup sizes. So I have been looking for a zip-up rain jacket for ages, and it's really difficult to buy them in plus sizes. And so I made the Dorothy jacket by Sew Over It, which is a button-up pattern using soft shell, which I'm also using for this coat. And I loved that jacket, but I really struggled with, you use the proper, what are they called? Like metal snap things. And I just struggled with the tool, and some of them went in really well, and some of them got a bit distorted, or they like then fell out afterwards or whatever. And I just was like, I don't want to make another coat that has those in, because you can do all this beautiful sewing and then it'd be wrecked by the hardware, which I just don't want to do. So I've been looking for a zip pattern, but I just could not find one anywhere. And then this coat was released fairly recently, I think towards the end of last year. And it's got lots of nice design features. So there's this curved seam on the sleeves. There's a 3-piece hood, so it has a straight panel in the middle, and then the side panels, and that's lined. The bodice has a sort of princess seam shape. So it's really nice and shaped, and it's got a dipped hem as well. So there are lots of little design features that I think make it fancy, make it seem a bit special, but also it's going to be really, really functional, which is amazing. So that's what I'm working on, and I need it fairly urgently because there's a lot of rain. So that is something that I'm really keen to get done. Don't know if I'll get it done by next week, but I might do. So if I do, I'll show you it on Friday. So that's what I've been doing in terms of sewing. I've also had some deliveries, and then I went on a bit of a pattern buying spree because I've been looking at some of the fabrics I have, and I'm obviously not buying new fabric at the minute, but there were a few things where I have gaps in my pattern library, or where certain patterns are in storage and I didn't want to buy those patterns again. And then there are a couple that I just bought because I was on the website and I thought, oh, that looks nice. when I was there to actually buy other patterns. But I have the second to last of my sale purchases here. So it's my Jenny Stitches delivery, and then I also have one coming from By Graziella, and then those are all the things I bought sort of between Christmas and New Year. So the first one is one from Jenny Stitches that I've had my eye on for ages. It is a French terry with this sort of tie-dye paint splatter effect on it. I think it's really pretty. I just thought it'd be nice. I have this jumper that I'm actually wearing, which is a ready-to-wear sweater, and I wear it all the time when I'm not working. It's just really cozy. And I wanted another one, basically, to rotate. So I've made, I don't know if you remember, for my wedding, or for my honeymoon really, I made this big sweatshirt that had Just Married on the back, which is lovely, and I do wear that sometimes, but it's in ivory, and I'm just like a bit stressed about having to spill stuff all down it. So yeah, I just wanted to make something else, casual wear. So I'll make a big oversized sweater with this just to wear around the house. Nothing fancy. So that was in the sale. And then the other thing is for a project that I've briefly mentioned before, but at some point I'm doing a collab with Tamlin at Sewn on Tyne, which will be the Blair skirt, which is a pattern from True Bias that they released at the end of the year. So again, I'll pop a picture of that here for you. It's a really sort of nice skirt pattern. Initially, I wasn't sure about whether it was for me. And then, who was it? Priya. Yeah, on Instagram, made a version, just a plain black mini version. I thought it looked really cute. So I wanted to make one. And then Tamlin reached out after one of my other vlogs and said, should we do it together? So we're going to do it together, which is great. So this is the fabric for that. It's somehow covered in fluff. I don't know how that's happened. Let me show you the unfluff covered side. So it's this. So it's quite a fine, I think it's an 8-wale cord, in just like a wine colour. You know, I love a wine colour. So yeah, I think that's going to be nice. And I don't know which length I'm going to make yet. I think it's sort of up in the air. Yeah, because I can't sort of decide what will look nicest. So I'll make a decision nearer the time. I think I mentioned to you I went to Liberty a couple of weeks ago, and I bought some iron-on patches for kids' sweatshirts. And I also bought some buttons that I'm hoping to use for the Blair, although they might be too small. But I'll show you those two. So they're in a nice Liberty bag. And the buttons are like, oh, I don't know if you'll be able to see these, like this. So they're gold, and then they've got this sort of like, they've got like a plain ring and a sort of pleated ring, which sort of go out and cross over each other on either side. I don't know how well you can see that. But yeah, I thought those looked nice. So, and they go nicely with the fab. Oh, I don't know how I can show you this. My silly hands in the way, but they go sort of nicely with the fabric as well. So that's what I bought them for. I just hope they're sturdy enough, but I'm gonna see. You know how it is. So yeah, so that's some of the stuff that I have been having delivered. I also, anyone who followed me pre-Christmas will know I was planning on making the Sew Over It Portia dress in this gold crackle fabric, and that was a plan that very almost happened until I realised that I had not printed the pattern and our printer wasn't working. So I ended up not getting to make it for Christmas, and because the fabric is gold, it's got to be sort of, it's for a specific, it's like a specific vibe, isn't it? So I was just thinking, instead of making it and then potentially by the time Christmas comes around next year it might not fit or whatever, I'm going to hold off, and that'll be a dress for the festive season next year. So that's some of the stuff that's been happening. Now, some patterns I've been ordering, I just thought I would tell you about. So I've ordered them to be printed and they'll be with me soon. I prefer to get my patterns printed on A0 rather than, for kids patterns, I'll print them out and stick them together, but I just do not have the patience for, especially if you're a bigger size, it's a lot of sticking. It's a lot of sticking. Not for me. So I've ordered these from Jenny Stitches, which I think have already been dispatched because she's super speedy like that. But I just thought I'd share with you some of them. So One of them is the new pattern from Paper Cut Patterns, which is called the Luli dress. Now, Paper Cut Patterns is based in New Zealand, and obviously seasonally, that means that they're in the middle of summer at the moment. So it's quite nice because the patterns are sort of released. Like this is a dress that's more for spring, summer, but they're obviously releasing it now because in New Zealand, it's summer. So it's a really pretty dress. I think it's a very wearable silhouette, but it's got a couple of nice features that just, I think, make it a bit different to other patterns that I have. So the bodice has this really pretty keyhole tie back. It's got nice puff sleeves, and then it also has a bias cut skirt. Now, I don't have any dress patterns apart from Sicily slip dress has a bias cut skirt, but that's the whole dress. Like the bodice and the skirt are all one piece, and that's all cut on the bias. I don't have any dress patterns that have a bias cut skirt, and I just think it looks really nice. I'm not gonna lie, I just thought I really like the pictures. And again, I think I'm always looking for things that I could wear for work as well. So in the summer, because obviously, like I work all over the place, but one of the things I do is teach singing in a school, and there are obviously dress codes in the school, and you want to find things. I always like to wear things that are pretty high necked when I'm in school. A lot of the summer dress patterns I have are a lower, like a square neck or something, and they're not super low, but just for school, there's probably a bit much on show. I think especially when you're busty, you just have to go like an extra level of, to look decent, which is annoying, but is also life. So I have high hopes for the Luli dress pattern. I think it looks really nice. There'll be more information as I go into making these. I'll give you more details, but I just thought I'd let you know. Then I have this fabric, which I'm just going to grab, which I've shown you before, which was another sale purchase. So this fabric I showed you a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago. I purchased from Fabrics Galore, and it's a double knit, I think it's called, a double knit fabric. And it has a lot of stretch one way and no stretch the other, basically. So, and it's got this really nice, it feels like a sweater knit. It's just like a bit textured. It's not like a normal jersey. And I purchased this because I wanted to make an easy to wear work dress, effectively. So I wanted something that in the mornings, because I leave very early on my school days, I leave at 6:30. So, and Nathan is still asleep at that point. So I have to sort of get ready with like minimal light and disturbance. And I'm just trying to get a couple of things where they don't need lots of pressing in the morning. There's not a lot of faff. They just throw on. So I wanted a jersey dress, but I actually was lacking a pattern that did what I wanted it to do. So I wanted a jersey dress for how it sat, but I didn't actually want the dress to be really fitted. And a lot of dresses for jersey fabric, especially in like the extended size range, are more about fitting the curves of your body. And I have some patterns like that, but I wanted something that was more of a relaxed, loose, flowy fit. And I also think because this fabric only has stretch one way, I think it sort of suits that as well. And I didn't have anything like that. An option that has not been extended yet is the Lotta dress by Tilly and the Buttons. So I made a Lotta when like really early on when I started sewing, and I graded up the sizing myself, and it worked really well. But that is in storage where half our stuff is. So, and again, I was like, it would be nice to have something that is actually graded for my size rather than my bodged version when I've been sewing for about 5 minutes. So I have purchased the Sew DIY Lou box dress number 2, which I'll pop a picture of here. I found this on the fold line. So the really good thing, I haven't used the fold line loads actually, but obviously they have really good filters. So filters for like sizes and fabrics and project type and blah, blah, loads of filters. So I could really filter it to find something to fit this fabric. And this dress has got a loose fit, elasticated waist, dolman sleeves. I think it's got no, it's like a midi length, I think. There are pockets, but I'm not going to do the pockets, I don't think. They're like visible pockets They're not patch pockets. They're like, but you can see them on the front of the skirt, which they're not in the side seams, which I think will make it look more casual, which I don't want because this is a work dress. I've not sewn with a sew DIY pattern before, but I just did think it looks good, to be honest. And I looked on Instagram with all of these patterns. I'd look on Instagram first. I would see, like, are there any people, like plus size people, who've made this dress? I think there's only one of the patterns I've purchased where there wasn't, and I've just risked it because it's a new pattern. But yeah, so I'm excited. This one I'm going to start pretty quickly when it arrives because, as I said, I have a need for it. I need to throw it on for work early in the morning when I can't be making decisions like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's that. Then I went on the Deer and Doe website. Now, my thoughts on Deer and Doe previously, I've sort of not purchasing them for ages because they were so reluctant to extend their sizing, and it just annoyed me. Not because I don't think everyone has to extend their sizing, but they basically extended their sizing. So normally when a pattern company extends their sizing, I normally fall around the middle of the upper size range. Like there's a couple of sizes, like 3 sizes or something above my size. It varies a bit, but like that's normally the case. And when they first upgraded their sizing, they added on like a couple of sizes, and the largest size was 7 inches smaller than my size. So it's like, do you know what I mean? It was just their size range was just really, really bad. Like it wouldn't include loads of people who I don't think would count themselves as being plus size even. So yeah, it just annoyed me, the reluctance. But their dresses and stuff are so nice. Their patterns are so gorgeous. So I just thought I'm going to leave it a bit and I'm going to see if they start, because I think initially as well, the patterns they were grading up properly were ones that were like a bit boring. They were just not the ones that I wanted, which is my personal thing. But I just was like, I'm going to see, and I'm going to see if they like commit to using a more inclusive size range. And they have, to be fair. Now, again, I've not seen loads of plus size people making Deer and Doe patterns, and I don't know if that's because they have the same feelings as me, or if maybe the block's not great. I don't know, but I went for it anyway. I just was like, I want these patterns. And I'm feeling a bit more confident now on after, if you've watched my review. So I know some people do not like subscription box reviews, but I did this subscription box that isn't a normal subscription box. It's part of a Learn to Dressmaking course. Learn to Dress Make, not Learn to Dressmaking. A Learn to Dress Make course. And with a plus size band, and it's there was all this stuff in there in how to adjust your pattern to fit, and I felt like I got a really nice fit. It was a simple pattern, but trousers are something I've always been quite stressed about making for myself, and the way it was explained as to how like you measure this because of this, and this applies to this, and it just made it all much clearer for me. And so I do feel like I'm maybe a bit more confident now with looking at the measurements on the chart and being able to say for myself, do I think that's going to fit, and do I need to adjust beforehand? So I'm feeling a bit more confident with that, which I think is also why I've committed to these. So I bought 4 patterns from Deer and Doe. One of them is the initial one that, well, no, there were 2 that I went on for, and then there were 2 that I saw and I thought looked good. So the ones that I went on for were the Majolica dress, which is one of their really popular patterns, which is a shirt dress pattern. They've only recently extended the sizing for this. And I've always been, it's so often I'm on Instagram and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love that person's dress. Or they'll even just have a flat lay of the dress, and I'm like, I love that. And then when I click through to see what it is, it was always the Majolica, which they hadn't extended until now. So I knew I was going to buy that once they extended it. It just had to be done. So I did. So I'm looking forward to making that. I don't have particular plans. I guess in the summer, also when we go to Italy for our honeymoon, that's one of those patterns I think will be nice there. So there was that one. The other one that I went on for was when I was on my jersey dress search, the Orage dress kept coming up. Now, I decided not to use this for this fabric because I don't think it has a high enough stretch percentage for what they recommend in the fabric guidance. But again, I just thought it was sort of an interesting pattern. So you can do a dress, a top, or a skirt. It's all for knit jersey fabrics. It has a little cutout detail, which I think is cute. So it shows a bit of skin, but it's not like super revealing. Again, I had this question, could you wear that for work? Because I've previously worn things that are like this, so that don't show cleavage, but are like open. But somehow, even if you're actually adding more fabric, there's something about it being a cutout that just makes me think, maybe that's not appropriate for work. Even though technically you're actually covering more skin than another dress. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I couldn't make my mind up on that. So do let me know if you've got an opinion on, is it just inappropriate by way of the fact that it's a cutout, as opposed to because it actually shows any more skin than anything else you'd wear? Don't know. But also it has this sort of dipped hem. So the skirt, like, and I couldn't tell whether I loved it or hated that, but it would be very easy to omit if you decided you hated it. So instead of it dipping at the sides, it dips like at the front and the back. So it's like a little curved hem. Yeah, might love it, might hate it, don't know. But I decided to buy that. So those were the two that got me onto the website. And then the two others I purchased were the eucalyptus jumpsuit. Now, I had seen this nowhere, and it's such a nice pattern. It's like a button-down front jumpsuit. It's got this cute little, like, I think it's called a Cuban collar. It's got just the fit looks really nice. These nice loose wide fit trousers. The fit on the bodice looks really nice. It's sleeveless, but like you could add a sleeve, or you could wear it with a denim jacket or a t-shirt underneath, or you just, you know, bare your arms, whatever. But again, this I sort of bought with honeymoon in mind. I don't massively love wearing jumpsuits at home. I don't really know why. I just never think, I'm going to go and get my jumpsuit. I just never do it. Probably because I've never made a jumpsuit. But also, I bought one once and I just felt like a giant baby. Like I didn't feel like it looked good on me. But I think that was because I think a loose trouser is the way forward. So you still get the movement as if it's like a skirt. I think is better than, I had one that was a bit more like the Sirocco, which is a deer and doe pattern, like more fitted trousers, and it just not a good look on me. It looked like a romper, but in not a cute way. So yeah, so I've got a lot of hope for this one actually as well. I think this will be nice in some summery fabrics. Again, I've just got to play around with that fit. And then the other one were the Genet. I don't know if that's how you say it. The Genet trousers, which are high-waisted, wide leg. They've got these nice pleats at the waist. And again, I'm thinking for work, I've actually wanted to make, because I always wear dresses and skirts to work. And, you know, some days you just want to wear trousers. But I just struggled to find trousers that I like. So the Serene trousers that I made the other day, I think in the right fabric could be suitable for work, provided that I wear something that covers the waistband, because the waistband is elasticated and I think doesn't look dressy enough for work. And they're super comfy and will be great for work. But I was just, and also I want to make a fly zip. I've never made one. I would like to try. And I've just been looking for a pattern that's the right fit. And I thought these ones looked really nice on the model. Again, they've got lots of nice features. This is where Deer and Doe are really good with their designs. They're sort of wearable designs, but they always put nice little extras in that just elevate them a bit. And I think they look really expensive. So again, the ones in their samples were made of like a wool, I think, or a wool blend or something. And I would like to make some in a wool blend. Now, I don't have any suitable fabric for that. So this, again, will be something either if something comes up on Minerva or something like that, that I might go, yeah, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll have to wait until my fabric ban is over. It might be something I look for when I go to the Stitch Festival in March. I'm already thinking, so something for trousers, I think would be good. And then also, I would really love, I can't think of what it's called. a great viewing, isn't it? It's got a name, but it's like this, it's a Sicilian print, and it's sort of tiled. It's like a really classic Sicilian design. I'll see if I can find, I'll put it down below when I work out what it's called. I think it begins with M. Anyway, I've already decided for the honeymoon, because I'm basic, that I want to make something out of this, like this sort of Sicilian, like tiled fabric, maybe with some lemons or something, because I'm original like that. So I will have an eye out for anything like that. I don't know if they'll have that at the Stitch Festival, but maybe. So I'm already starting to get an idea. So what I'm doing is writing down things that come up that I think that's something that I don't have that I would like. And then we'll see by the time we get to March if there's still things I'm looking for, because I might be over that idea by then, you know. So yeah, that's it really. Not the most exciting vlog ever, but I just thought I would catch you up. I want to try and get into being a bit more regular with the vlog. Now work's actually still really busy, but I'm not doing so many like concerts and extra things that are making it impossible at the weekends to get anything done. So yeah, I just wanted to update you. So I'm hoping for next week we will have some progress, or even possibly a finished Andy's jacket, but progress might be a better shout. I also need to get started sewing on all of my baby gifts, because another one was born yesterday, a little lovely little boy, which is very exciting, but it's just like, it's a lot of babies. I've got a lot of things to be sewing. The By Graziella delivery I've got coming. I've got one sweatshirting fabric for myself that I bought in the sale, and then 3, I think it's a mix of French Terry and jerseys, but are in very like child-friendly, bright prints, just to add to the collection. I haven't really decided what so we've got currently all 3 babies born already have been boys. The next 2 that are coming at the start of February are both girls. So I haven't sort of decided what's what, but I've got a big selection of fabrics for kids now. And I've got to start making some decisions, so I might be able to show you some of that. And you never know, I might have even cut out my Lou box dress, if we're lucky. Maybe not, but yeah. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get a bit more consistent progress for you, at least for the first few months of the year. And yeah, let me know what you're up to. Lovely to hear from you all. I really enjoy it, reading your messages. I get a bit behind responding to them. As I said before, I do read them at the time, and then I'll respond to that later. And then sometimes I just like forget. So I will get around to responding if I haven't already. But yeah, let me know what you're up to. And if you enjoy the channel, I think a lot of my viewers do subscribe. But if you don't subscribe, please consider subscribing. And that's it for me. All right, have a great week. See you later. Bye.